truth has a way of creeping out when the noise gets loud enough. And today it did not just creep, it burst through the door, slammed it behind itself, and sat everyone down whether they were ready or not. What has finally leaked about Bo Bichette's future is not just surprising, it is borderline surreal, and it has sent shockwaves through Toronto, through rival front offices, and through an off-season that already felt like it was teetering on the edge of madness. This is Blue Jays news, and trust me when I say you are going to want to stay with this one right to the very end, because what has come out today genuinely changes how this entire saga looks. There are moments in every off-season where speculation gives way to clarity, where whispers harden into numbers, and today was one of those moments. Multiple updates dropped almost simultaneously, but one in particular hit like a thunderclap. John Heyman reported that Bo Bichette's asking price is believed to be around $300 million. $300 million. That figure did not just raise eyebrows, it practically launched them into orbit, and within minutes fans across baseball were either laughing, fuming, or sitting in stunned silence trying to process what they had just read. Before we go any further, if you are part of that percentage who keep watching but have not yet subscribed, now is the time. This is the place to be for daily Jays content, and if you enjoy deep dives like this, make sure you like the video, share it with another Jays fan, and subscribe to Blue Jays News so you do not miss a single development as this story continues to unfold. That $300 million number is not just big, it is defining. It reframes everything. It explains why the market around Bo Bichette has felt sluggish, awkward, almost hesitant. Teams are not circling because the water is murky. They are circling because the price tag is staggering. For that kind of money, front offices expect a generational cornerstone, someone who bends games to their will on both sides of the ball. And while Bo Bichette is an outstanding hitter, this is where reality begins to clash violently with expectation. There is no escaping the uncomfortable truth that Kyle Tucker, in the current market, is widely viewed as the more complete player. Tucker offers elite offense, elite defense, positional value, and left-handed balance, and even he is projected by many to land somewhere between $300 and $350 million. When you put that next to Bo Bichette asking for $300 million, it stops being bold and starts feeling disconnected from how teams actually value risk. The Blue Jays are not afraid of spending. That much has been proven. They would happily push that kind of money across the table for a true, undeniable superstar who ticks every box. But paying that sum for a shortstop whose defense has graded out among the worst in baseball, whose base running has declined, and who is coming off an injury-shortened season is a very different proposition. You are not just buying production, you are buying projection, and right now that projection is anything but clean. Look at the numbers coldly, because baseball front offices certainly do. Last season, Bichette was brilliant with the bat, but defense matters, and his outs above average placed him near the bottom of the league. At that point, you are effectively paying $300 million for a player who may need to shift positions long before the contract expires. That is not an indictment of Bo Bichette as a player, but it is a reality teams cannot ignore when they are committing a decade of payroll flexibility. This is why the Spotrac market valuation is so jarring when placed alongside the leaked asking price. Spotrac pegs Bichette at around 8 years and $186 million. That is a strong, healthy contract that reflects his offensive value while accounting for his limitations. Jumping from that figure to $300 million is not a small leap. It is a canyon. Even if you stretch it over 10 years, you are talking about $30 million per season, a number that pushes him well beyond comparable players. When you line him up against recent deals, the picture becomes even clearer. Dansby Swanson, Trevor Story, Willie Adams, and Trey Turner all serve as reference points, but none align perfectly. Trey Turner did reach the $300 million mark, but he did so with a stronger defensive profile, elite speed, and a longer track record of all-around excellence. Willie Adams, perhaps the closest comparison, landed well below that threshold. This is not about disrespecting Bichette, it is about understanding how teams draw lines. And yet, this leaked figure also answers the question fans have been asking for months. Why has nothing moved? Why has there been so much smoke but so little fire? Because negotiations were never stuck on term or structure. They were stuck on a number that made teams physically lean back in their chairs and reassess their entire off-season plans. What complicates matters further is that this number does not just affect Toronto. It sends ripples through the entire league. And that is where things start to feel truly uncomfortable for Blue Jays fans. According to the same reporting, the New York Yankees are now looking more seriously at Bo Bichette as discussions with Cody Bellinger continue to stall. Even reading that sentence feels wrong, like a glitch in reality, but it is very much on the table. The Yankees' interest introduces a nightmare scenario, but also a strange sense of clarity. If the Yankees are willing to pay $300 million for Bo Bichette, then the Blue Jays can at least walk away knowing they never had a realistic path to that deal. It would not be a failure of ambition. It would be a refusal to mortgage the future on a contract that could age poorly. Still, the idea of facing Bichette in pinstripes year after year is enough to make any Jays fan uneasy. The Red Sox, too, lurk on the periphery, and while the Dodgers have faded from the conversation, the mere fact that multiple rivals are circling adds pressure. This is where the off-season begins to feel like a living thing, breathing, shifting, testing the resolve of every decision-maker involved. All of this also casts a long shadow over the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes. If Bo Bichette is asking for $300 million, what does that say about Tucker's leverage? What does that say about the market at the very top? Suddenly, the idea of prioritizing Tucker feels not just sensible but essential. If the Blue Jays are going to swing, they need to swing where the value aligns with the cost. At the same time, while fans debate what might happen, real moves are quietly being made. The Blue Jays have avoided arbitration with several key players, a detail that might seem minor but speaks volumes about organizational philosophy. Dalton Varsho has agreed to a deal worth $10.75 million, a figure slightly above projections, but one that acknowledges his elite defensive value. Ernie Clement has settled at $4.6 million, and Tyler Heineman at just over $1.2 million. These agreements matter because they show a front office that understands relationships. Arbitration can strain bonds, and avoiding it wherever possible sends a message to current players and future free agents alike. This is a club willing to be fair, willing to talk, willing to invest, but also willing to draw a line when the numbers stop making sense. If you are still with me, make sure you drop a like, because this story is evolving by the hour, and your support genuinely helps keep this coverage coming every single day here on Blue Jays News. As we zoom out, the picture becomes clearer, even if it is not comforting. The truth has finally leaked, and it reveals that this was never about Toronto dragging its feet or undervaluing its star. It was about a gap between perception and reality that may simply be too wide to bridge. Bo Bichette remains an exceptional player, one of the best hitters this franchise has ever seen, but $300 million changes the conversation entirely. And so we arrive at the crossroads. The Blue Jays cannot afford to miss on everyone. They need one defining win from this offseason. Whether that win comes in the form of Kyle Tucker or another bold move remains to be seen. But what is now undeniable is that the clock is ticking louder than ever. This offseason has already given us drama, tension, and no shortage of disbelief. The payoff is coming. When it does, it will either validate patience or expose hesitation, and either way, it will shape the next decade of Blue Jays baseball. Let me know your thoughts down below. Is $300 million ever justifiable for Bo Bichette? Or is this the moment Toronto pivots fully towards Tucker and never looks back? Whatever happens next, Blue Jays News will be right here, breaking it all down, step by step. Cheers and stay locked in.